Today, we're going to build on the foundation for everything you'll learn in this course. Like I said, recruiting has changed. Transfer portal, the NIL, the new 5 year rule, 5 years of eligibility. So I'm going to start with one simple question. How many of you believe college coaches spend most of their time recruiting high school seniors? If that's what you think, you're not alone, but it's no longer true. Today, college coaches build their rosters differently than they did just a few years ago. Instead of recruiting only high school players, they're balancing returning players, transfer portal additions, now international recruits, and high school prospects. So that means there are fewer roster spots available for high school athletes than ever before. With the internationals coming in, they're more developed. They seem like they have a more balanced skill set, or they're more skilled. With the transfer portal, those guys are more developed. They've shown that they can handle college, and they've also been in the system. They're also more physically developed than high school players. But that doesn't mean your dream is over. It just means your strategy has to be better. Recruiting is no longer about talent, it's about relationships, it's about timing, academics, fit, communication, and understanding where you belong. Recruiting is all about fit, finding your fit. It's not always about the biggest logo. It's not always about your dream school. It's about the fit you're in the program, their offensive, defensive systems, as well as academics. Being able to find a school that has an academic program that you're interested in, and not only interested in, but you can thrive in. So we talked about understanding every college level in the last class, and one of the biggest mistakes I see is families. They believe that Division 1 is the only successful outcome, and I'm going to tell you something throughout this course that the goal isn't Division 1. The goal is finding the best fit. So we broke down each level. We can do that again. Division 1, of course, is the highest level in NCAA basketball. Kentucky, Duke, Kansas, North Carolina, Alabama, and hundreds of others. But what most families doesn't realize is not every D1 program is the same. There's high major, mid major, and low major schools. The level of competition, resources is really dramatically different between a Kentucky, a Duke, North Carolina, and like a school in the MAC, like the Bowling Green State, or a school like EKU. Like the facilities, the resources, they're tremendously different. Um, and recruiting expectations are also they can be very different. Division 1 is a full-time commitment. You have to, coaches expect maturity, discipline, and consistency every day. Many of these programs now recruit experienced college players through the transfer portal, instead of looking at high school prospects, because like I said, in the transfer portal, these players have shown that they have, mature, they're disciplined and consistent every day, instead of gambling on a high school prospect or athlete. They don't want to gamble their job and their life away because they're expected to win and they have to win now. Division 2 basketball, it's outstanding as well, but you know, a lot of D2 players can compete on the D1 level, but the difference is opportunity, not really talent. D2 schools commonly they combine athletic and academic aid or scholarships. For many players, this level offers more playing time. You're going to get great coaching there as well, and an excellent college experience. So over to D3, probably one of the biggest misconceptions is isn't good basketball, but that's simply not true. D3 schools, they don't award athletic scholarships, but they offer excellent academic and merit scholarships. And for families who value education and long-term career success, D3 deserves some serious attention. Let's talk about the NAI level again. Never underestimate the NAIA. Many NAIA programs play outstanding basketball, and they do offer athletic scholarships. Some recruit earlier than NCAA schools and provide opportunities for players have been overlooked elsewhere. I've seen plenty of NCAA athletes or players transfer to NC. I mean, excuse me. I've seen plenty of NAIA athletes or players transfer to NCAA programs and actually move on to professional basketball. And finally, let's talk about JUCO real quick. I want to challenge the stigma around junior college. JUCO is not a failure; it's just another path. You know, many athletes use JUCO or junior college to improve academically, develop physically, they develop mentally, they gain experience, and even scholarships for 4-year schools. Some of today's best college players actually started at the JUCO level, and JUCO, I've seen like a prevalence of JUCO come back because a lot of high school players are going JUCO, prepping JUCO because of the transfer portal. So JUCO is a valuable option, and you know you can go there for 2 years or not even 2 years and get bigger, get stronger, get more experienced, learn how to play in a system, learn how to work with coaches, and transfer up. Just because you don't go D1 right out of high school does not mean you're failing. So get that stigma and get that out of your mind. So let's talk about lesson three, scholarships versus roster spots. Here's something that families don't realize: being recruited doesn't automatically mean receiving an athletic scholarship. There are players who receive full scholarships, partial scholarships, preferred walk on opportunities, and recruited walk on opportunities. A roster spot has tremendous value. If you perform well, opportunities often follow. Don't reject an opportunity simply because it doesn't look exactly how you imagined it. And lesson four, NIL reality. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood topics in recruiting: name, image, and likeness. Social media makes it look like every college athlete is making six figures. That's not reality. A small percentage of athletes receive major NIL deals. Most athletes earn modest amounts or none at all. Parents don't choose a school because someone promises NIL money. Players focus on becoming better basketball player and a better person. The opportunities will come if you've built your value. Lesson five, the transfer portal. The transfer portal has changed recruiting forever. If you're a college coach trying to win games, would you rather recruit a high school senior who may need 2 years to develop, or a college sophomore who has already proven they can play? That's why many programs recruit transfers first. So how do high school players compete? By becoming the type of player coaches trust. Coachable, reliable, consistent, academically strong, with a high character. Those qualities separate players just as much as talent. Lesson six, the new NCAA 5 for 5 rule. You probably heard people talking about the new NCAA's new eligibility rules. The biggest takeaway for families is this: understanding eligibility is just as important as understanding recruiting. Knowing how many seasons a player has available, how roster management works, and how coaches plan for future classes can influence recruiting decisions. We'll continue discussing these changes throughout this course so you can understand how they affect your opportunities. Lesson 7, how coaches build recruiting boards. Many families think coaches recruit based only on highlights. That's one of the biggest myths in recruiting. Coaches build recruiting boards by evaluating talent, position needs, academic qualifications, character, basketball IQ, athleticism, coachability, roster balance, projected graduation years, system fit, relationships. Every coach has a recruiting board and a board ranking prospects for each position. Sometimes a player ranked lower receives an offer before a higher ranked player because for a better fit for the program. Fit matters. So, my final message of the class is I want to leave you with this: stop chasing logos, start chasing opportunities. Some of the happiest former college players or athletes I've worked with didn't attend the biggest schools. They attended schools where they played, graduated, built relationships, and prepared for successful careers. Parents, Support your child's journey without comparing it to someone else's. Players, control what you can control, work hard, stay coachable, take academics seriously, communicate professionally, keep improving. If you do these things consistently, you'll give yourself the best chance to play at the next level. Thank you for joining Module 1. In our next lesson, we'll build your recruiting strategy and show you exactly how to start contacting college coaches right away. I'll see you guys in Module 2, and I want to thank you guys for hopping on tonight. And if you can, like and share this so other people can get the help that they need and be educated and informed on the recruiting process. You guys have a good night.